All righty then. Well, happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you and everybody that's in the chat. Which is all 5 people so far.
Wait, 5 is better than none.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always a trickle in, right? It's always a trickle in. People start getting notifications. Hello. Look, there's James from Michigan.
And there's Rhonda.
Hey, Bruce. Good to see you. So we talked a little bit. Obviously, I already know what you did today. But what'd you do today for everybody else?
Waxed about another 130 frames today and make lip balms. 250 of them.
Lip balms.
Made 250 and I got about another 150 to go.
But did you label them already or just make them?
Just made them. I labeled 2.
Oh, so you got a bunch left to go then.
Yep. Time-consuming little things.
Let me see. What did I do today? Well, I did a live because I found in a nuke, I found a queen being balled in the bottom of a nuke, but I also found a queen on the frames. So I left the queen on the frame. I pulled the little ball of bees out of the bottom and caged her up, set her on a nuke that didn't have a queen, and it looks like they took her. So I went back about, I don't know, an hour or 2 later just to make sure she wasn't dead in the bottom of the cage. Nope, she was walking around the frame. So
that's good news.
Doing good with that one.
Yeah, I went into my bees, I believe it was Friday evening. Yeah, I think Friday. It was so dark, though, I didn't get to bring the camera out there. And my hand's finally back to normal size. And got about 12 stings in about 3 seconds. They wasn't too happy with me.
Were you using smoke?
Nope. Whenever I got stung, I got the smoker and went back. Then they were halfway fine. But like I said, it was right at dark. All the field foragers were back. So, it was a full box. Right. And I was trying to move frames, take brood from them to put into a split that I'd had that didn't draw a queen yet.
Well, the only other thing I did beekeeping-wise today was put some sandwich bag feeders on my little small nukes. So.
What you got, 1-to-1?
Just 1-to-1 with I mixed a 5-gallon pail, right? So I put a little bit of peppermint oil in it. But I did a little bit different than I did it last time. So I had a little bit a little bit of remaining from the last batch I had made. And so I put the peppermint oil on top of that, and then I dumped all the sugar on top of that. So hopefully the oil would get soaked up into the sugar and mix a little bit better, at least a little bit of it. And seems like it's all right. I mean, I put it in the chicken feeders, and the bees were hitting it pretty hard today.
They took to it a little bit faster.
Mm-hmm. I didn't put as much in today as well, so it's not an exact science. At least not when I do it. You know, a lot of people
I don't do nothing. Well, when I made the brewed stimulant stuff before, I kind of put the actual tablespoons it called for, but that was kind of a guesstimate off the recipe I went from. And
last night, I Ubered for about 6 hours, made I don't know, $215 in 6 hours. So it was like $35 an hour or something like that.
That ain't bad.
So can't complain too much about that. Almost had a girl throw up in my truck, but
that's always an experience.
Yep, I pulled over with a quickness. Can you stop the car? Absolutely. Pulled over, opened the door, let her jump out and throw up, and then when she was good, then we went back on the journey. But yeah, so that's really all I did today, beekeeping wise. But Ratmageddon is still going on. So
in a new place.
So some of you guys may not know the situation, but I just wrapped the porch, right, for the honey house. And there was a bunch of boxes on the porch that had been there for years. I mean, it was just like my sister's stuff just been out there. Just old stuff just got stuck on the porch in cardboard boxes. Well, when I went to clean off the porch for the honey house, there was rats. I mean, and I'm not saying mice. I mean rats in the box and in the boxes, probably 50 to 100. I mean, I obviously wasn't counting them, but there was a lot. Every box had 5-6 rats jumping out of it, and so there's no more rats in the porch. Nothing in the porch. However, my little pump house building that's off to the side there that I go by with the red door all the time, that I usually park my truck next to, I opened the door up this afternoon for something, and Lord have mercy, there was rats like up on the top rafter. They were jumping down. I mean, I got a lot of junk in there. It caught a lot of junk, right? I've got boxes of frames out there, all kinds of stuff. So now I'm going to have to deal with that. So I've been watching YouTube videos on different kinds of rat traps, you know, to get rid of them. So Daniel says, Vancouver, Washington, 6 more days of rain. I was able to do my first inspection of my 2 hives. Saw no queen, but saw larvae, no eggs. But I need to get used to my new glasses and veil. Yeah, that if I don't take my glasses out there, it's like a double-edged sword. You take your glasses out there, and you can see until you start sweating. And then the sweat drips on the inside of the glasses.
Everything gets a little blurry after that, huh?
Yep. And then you end up taking them off. Get a couple dozen pythons. Yeah, hey, I'm down for it.
I actually used to have to buy mice and rats when I had red-tailed boas.
Well, it'd be my luck. Then I would have a snake problem. So, you know, it's just.
Yeah, we'll come get them out for you.
I got to do something with that building now. I mean, I just want them gone. But I understand why they're there, because since we've moved here, I put chickens out, right? And they get corn and all that stuff. So that would attract them, I would assume. And then they cleared a bunch of woods out to build a subdivision. So that ran them, you know, out of their natural home, I guess. So, I got to deal with them. So now it's looking at devious ways. They've got some electric ones that shock them, but they only catch one. Where if you use like a 5-gallon pail, you can catch multiple. But if they're big rats, they can get out of a 5-gallon pail, I'm sure.
Yeah, they jump on top of each other.
Well, if I do it, I think I'm going to do it like half. I saw a guy did it. He just filled a 5-gallon bucket about halfway up with water. And then he got oil, black oil, sunflower seeds or whatever it's called. And he put about a half inch of that on top of the water and floated them. And the rats just dove in there to get the sunflower seeds and drowned it. So I guess that's what going to be working with.
Yeah, you do what you got to do to keep everything good. Get rid of them.
And there'll be a YouTube video following that, because some of those are, the one I saw, I mean, it isn't like a big fish story, but that thing was huge. I mean, it was the biggest, I mean, like New York City rat. It was a big rat. Plaster powder and flour mixed 50-50. They eat it and die. All right, I'm going to have to try it. I'm going to be trying everything. Maybe we'll have a rat kill experiment. This one guy that I watched on YouTube said he killed 93 rats in like a couple of months using that 5-gallon pail with sunflower seeds.
I ain't never thought about doing it that way. I've seen the 5-gallon bucket with water, and they'll put like a little rope across it with a PVC pipe in the center. And when they go climbing across the rope, hit that PVC pipe, they just like slide off and fall in.
That's I'm gonna do something. But see, now I know they're contained in that little building. So it's like, the bad thing is I've got so much crap in that building that I can't even set a trap in there without taking stuff out, which means the rats are going to come out. So, but if I put it right outside the building, I could probably leave the door open and they would smell the food and come out for it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
At night, So it's just kind of crazy. Crazy. If you don't have, I got every other kind of animal. Why not rats?
I actually got rid of a couple of chickens yesterday. My cousin been wanting some, so she asked me where to get them. I said, my house. So she come over, her and her new husband just picked up 4 of them.
4? Is she a lightweight?
They got one of those little pre-built coops, little small ones you can move around.
Right.
And they just starting out with that and see how they like it. But they trying to get into the homestead, and they wanting the chickens. They're trying to do the hydroponics. And they said they're going to end up building a bigger coop. So I said, well, come back to see me. I got more chickens.
I thought about doing the hydroponics, and I've also, what's the other one where you use the fish? They call it something else, some other kind of aquaponics.
Aquaponics. Yeah, they talking about that too. They doing, I guess it's fish in a barrel somehow, and then everything filters into different stuff.
Yeah, so it's kind of like the vegetables get fed off of the fish poop, right?
Yeah.
And then the fish poop gets cycled back out. Well, it's getting ate and filtered and everything else. So it's kind of you feed the fish, then I guess the plant clean the water, and then the water goes back to the fish. So it's just like a continuous loop.
A little circle of life.
And then your fish are growing, so you can harvest the fish if you're big fish eating people, and do that. So, oops, sorry. I was just about to say, if you're just tuning in, or didn't watch my live earlier, there is a chance, and when I say a chance, Ian Stepler says he will come on the show, but we don't know if it's going to be this Tuesday or next Tuesday or what. We don't know, but here in the next few weeks, Ian Stepler will be on the Tuesday Night Live. If everything still stays the same. He's much busier than I am. So Earl talked to him. Hillbilly Beekeeping talked to Ian through text messages or whatnot. And so he will hopefully in the next week, maybe Tuesday, maybe next Tuesday, be on the show. Also, someone that said that they want to come on is Black Mountain Honey. Now, the only thing with Black Mountain Honey is he's in Europe, so he's hours ahead of us. So if we start late at night, then it's literally the middle of the night for him, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like 6 hours ahead of us. So it's like almost 3 a.m. right now. So that might be an issue to figure out how we're going to do that. But
we might be able to work something out on a weekend when everybody's off and do a
daytime stream or something.
2 or 3 o'clock in the day or something for us, and 7 or 8 for him.
Yeah, we might work that out. We'll get with him. We'll get with him too. So definitely got stuff in the plans for coming up. And Obviously, nobody wants to join the chat tonight because we've dropped the link twice already.
I know Bruce was in there.
Bruce is. Oh, I said Bruce from Swarmstead.
Yeah.
For some reason, it always takes me a second because when you say Bruce, automatically my head thinks Bruce's Bees.
Yeah.
But
he just had a premiere too. So.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's pretty much been what my beekeeping day has been like.
Yeah, I'd planned on trying to get in the yard today and do a little video, but trying to get all these lip balms done and waxing frames, I've just been busy.
So we just been, I sent you that picture, which I don't think I have on the computer where I can share it. I texted it to you though, right? The one of the frames.
Give me about 20 seconds or so. I can have it off my phone, or I can actually pull it from my phone straight to the computer screen.
Well, you're the man. You're gonna cast it to your computer screen.
Give me just a second. I gotta move a wire.
Move one wire, blow up the whole system.
Now, I had my other charger wire plugged into a turbocharger instead of my USB sync cable.
My mom went to my sister's today for Easter, and I just saw lights pull up in the driveway, so they're probably coming in now. But yeah, so I took a frame. This was a colony that I did a walk-away split on last year. And man, that queen has kicked it up. Has kicked it up for sure. I actually had split off of that colony this year, and but that queen is still running like a champ. And let's see what happens here. You getting it, Lee?
Trying to find where it's saved to.
Yeah, that's always the thing. Oh, well, we appreciate you're in Oklahoma. You on vacation or something? It's beekeeping season. You can't be in Oklahoma. He's downloading it from that Russian site that we save everything to.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where it's saved here. It's not going to the correct location that I normally have it set for.
We'll figure it out in a second.
Yeah. You keep going. I'll get this figured out somewhere.
In other words, just keep running your mouth, Bob, and killing time. Oh, family Easter trip. So anybody got anything interesting happening in their apiaries? Anything going on in your bee yards? Hey, Jeff, what part of West Virginia are you from? Oh, I got a comment. I actually got a comment from somebody that said, I don't know if y'all ever heard me say that someone that lives close to me came by and we went through 15 colonies and found 3 beetles. Well, they sent me a comment that said, I'll read it verbatim because I got it on my snip. It said, when we left your house, we went and bought peppermints. Since then, the one hive that kept having the most hive beetles now has none. So that was probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that they were here. And we went through the colonies. So
that's a plus. I had to refresh my peppermints the other day, and by the time I put the peppermints on, moved to a hive over, realized I forgot I needed a frame of brood and eggs. I went back and they were already surrounded that peppermint. They were all over it.
Well, I checked the peppermint patties today when I was out there on my 3 new nukes that I just put in, and one of them is almost done with it. And I mean, which is pretty good. The other 2 are taking it. I mean, they're on it. but they're just haven't gone through it as fast. And it could have just been that they had a little bit less because, like I said, I'm not scientific about it. I just kind of, that's a third, and a third, basically. And Hurricane. I know exactly where Hurricane is. I've got family around Clendenin, just outside of Charleston, just to the east of Charleston, right? So, yeah, I'm familiar with that area. Matter of fact, who knows? Maybe one day I move to up that way. Land is cheap there. You figured it out yet? There it is. So that was one side of a frame. And they've got all of those middle frames, like 4. Oh, wrong way.
1.
4.
I don't know where it went there. It didn't move all of them.
My boxes are warping and my frames are falling apart. So got to move them into new equipment. Yeah, that's I've got some of those in some of the nuke boxes where it's falling apart. Some of the warping is my bad craftsmanship. It's usually right around where the if I forget the staple right where the frame rest is, they have a tendency to kind of bow out a little bit right there. All right, look who we got.
Hey, we got Bruce here.
Bruce.
What's up?
Not much, man. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's cold over here now. We're having a cold snap. Sucks.
So you going through that warm day, cold day thing that was going on?
Yeah, well, it's like 3 days of cold straight, and then it's back to normal.
I think we had a cold snap this morning. It got down to about 75.
I feel terrible for you. It gets down to like 30 at night now, and then 50 during the day.
Yeah, it's 75 right now here, and it's like 80 today. But it's supposed to drop down though, if I believe this weather app on the computer. It's saying, what is it saying? We're supposed to get in the 40s tomorrow, or tomorrow night, 45. Tuesday 41, Wednesday 45 for lows. And then after Wednesday, it's supposed to be all like in the 50s for lows, 50s and 60s for lows.
We made it to 85 today.
That's it.
Was our high.
So your low is 50 at night?
Yeah.
Tonight, my low is 66.
Damn. Where are you again? Oh, you're in Louisiana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right near Baton Rouge.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I'm cold here, sitting here right now.
I got your picture up here, Bob.
Oh. All right. That's one side. And then did you have the other side or no? For some reason, though, they did backfill that on one side. They backfilled the center part with some pollen in there. But all of the other frames that were next to it, the black frames, they were all drawn and had the eggs and larvae all the way out, just like that. So it's gonna. What y'all? Yeah. So right in the middle, you can see where there's like pollen in there. Maybe, I don't know. It was from a phone picture, but yeah, she's a pretty good laying queen. So I just saw a question. Bobby's, what's y'all's suggestion on dealing with all of the old frames? They're all laid up. If they ain't falling apart and the bees are using them, well, what you could do, if you could add a box and put them over a queen excluder, and then when they hatch out, she can't lay in them, you could actually remove them at that point. But other than that, I mean, I let them ride until they fall apart. What do you do?
I left my little gun next door. I got a little, not a pneumatic air nailer, electric air nailer. And that's what I use anytime I have a problem with my frame. Just pop another staple in it, but I make sure everything's glued and stapled whenever I first get them.
What do you do, Bruce, when your frames start falling apart? Hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute myself, but I can hear you.
I have frames that are almost 100 years old in my hives. Like they're so old that if you just squeeze them, they're gonna just fall apart. So I hold on to them until they practically disappear. But if you're talking about old comb, I just move it to the outside, let them fill it with honey, and then extract it, and then get rid of the comb and just scrape the frame and reuse it again. Foundationless.
That's what I was gonna say. Like even with the plastic foundation, if your comb starts getting old, your cells are gonna get smaller and smaller and smaller over time from all the cocoons in them. Just scrape it off and start over again. And then if it's like you said, natural wax foundation, just cut it out after it gets so old, they'll rebuild a new one.
Yeah, most of my frames I don't use any foundation, so it's really easy to just cut it right across the top, down the sides, and pop it right out. Or I might give it a run through swarm traps too. Use my old combs for that.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You could just cut that comb out or use the whole old frame in the swarm trap, right?
Yeah.
They don't care. They're just going for that smell.
What's really cool, a bunch of plastic foundation that had old comb on it that I left in my barn. I put them all into a bin and let the wax moths eat them up, and it just peels right off. It's so clean. All I got to put a little layer of wax on, and it's back to perfect again. If I even leave it in there. But I love how they clean up. Yeah, that's what they look like when the wax moths are done with them. They just brush it right off.
I just finished waxing about another 130 frames today.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about plastic is having to re-wax it. That's kind of a lot of work.
Even if I buy them with the heavy wax on them, I don't know how long they've been sitting in a warehouse. If that wax on there is old, a lot of times they don't want to draw on it. So I'll put a fresh coat on every frame I have.
Yeah.
Now I've seen someone use a hair dryer and like heat the wax up that's on there to like refresh it. I don't know how it does, but I've seen them do it on YouTube. On YouTube, where we learn everything nowadays.
I might have to give that a try then. Mark one of my frames and then run the hair dryer over it, see if they draw on it quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're using it during the really, really strong flow, it doesn't even need a lot of wax on it. They'll pretty much use it, but anything after that, then forget about it. They might even just pick it right off. The bees will pick it off and use it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Let me see. I don't have my glasses on. I'm all like squinting, looking all Chinese-eyed, and these are dirty from sweating in them in my veil today.
I don't think I'm too far away from getting one. I noticed over the last year and a half, my eyesight's getting a little rough.
Wait till you go to a restaurant and you can't read the menu.
Well, I can still read some small stuff, like the little power plugs for a USB, like your wall plug. I used to be able to turn it over and read every little detail on there. Now I'm having to focus back and forth.
I can't read nothing. I can't see, and definitely can't see eggs in the cells if I don't have my glasses on, unless it's on the black foundation and it's like brand new brand new comb on it.
Yeah,
then I can see it. You ever use propolis wash on your equipment? I haven't.
What is that?
It's probably propolis and alcohol, I would imagine. Then the alcohol evaporates and leaves the propolis behind. I would have.
Oh, no. I saw someone said they had combs that are 30 years old. I always wonder about those people I'd like to see a frame. I have frames that are 100 years old, but the comb, I don't have any comb that's over, 4 years old. It's usually by then it's so thick and like just
heavy. It's just heavy by itself. Even.
Yeah, with no comb, no honey, no brood, nothing in it. The whole frame feels like it's heavy as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. Like it's just so thick with just crap. And that's after like 3 or 4 years at the most. So 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'd have to see that. I really have to see it. I've heard it a million times. I've never seen it.
I figured those cells are going to get smaller and smaller from all the cocoon that build up in them. I mean, they clean some of it out, but they don't get it all.
Well, the cells get shallower. They don't get less narrow. the cocoons fall to the bottom, so that they're definitely gonna get heavy. I can see where it all goes down, but I don't know. I'd love to see it. I've heard people tell me that a million times. Somebody make a video and show me what a 30-year-old comb looks like.
I'd like to see it. And
Even when I
Galloway
do
said,
removal.
yeah, on that propolis wash, he said, yes, what you were talking about, the alcohol and propolis.
And then you dissolve the propolis in the alcohol and you paint it on, and the alcohol evaporates, but it leaves the propolis in there. You know what I do for propolis? Just put bees in my box.
Oh, hey, speaking of propolis, you guys were talking the other night when I was watching with the guy who said he sees
Mike?
the propolis. Yeah, the propolis sells for somewhere between like $20 to $65 for an ounce. Remember that guy
Yeah.
talking about that?
Mike. Yeah, Mike
I was
Kuhnlich.
I was thinking about that while I was scraping boxes yesterday. I probably scraped about $5,000 right into the grass. Because I don't even want to deal with it. It's coming off in just giant chunks of pure propolis off the frames, off the boxes.
Well, ours here this time of year is so sticky. I mean, it's just thick like paste. I mean, I was having bees get stuck on my glove that had propolis.
I was thinking about getting a couple of the propolis traps, and once they're full, they say put it in a freezer and it'll harden, and then you can just kind of fold the trap back and forth and it'll fall off in whatever container you need.
Yesterday it was cool enough here that when you scraped it, it just popped right off clean. And it was big chunks flying everywhere. And I was thinking, man, I should run in the house and get a big trash can with a bag and just scrape it into there. But if I could find somebody who pays, $40 an ounce, I quit my job tomorrow, man. We could just sell propolis every day.
I'll go get some Caucasian bees, and they draw a lot of propolis out.
My bees draw a lot of propolis. I mean, feeder rings are like stuck to the lids, it's stuck to the bottom, everything's stuck together. The frames are stuck in.
Yeah, I had
frames. Mine will get a little propolis, but it ain't extreme amount.
Mine had frames that there was no space between the end bar and the box. They built it completely down the whole sides of both the outside of each frame throughout the whole box. So when you popped it out, it slid out like there was no space at all. And
yeah, that's mine too. If they're not really like up flat against each other, if you leave just a little gap, they'll fill that whole thing in with propolis.
Yeah, it was weird.
And we got so many pine trees here that they're just like grabbing that pine sap, I guess.
Michael, on that question, a full frame of brood, how many frames will it cover when they emerge? Usually 2.5 to 3 frames is what a full frame of captive brood would cover after they hatch.
So, yeah, propolis is a lot of work. But basically, it's like a queen excluder, the propolis trap, and you just put it on there and they propolis everything, and then you put it in the freezer and then just crack it off of there.
About to say the openings on the propolis trap are just a little bit smaller than a queen excluder.
I can't put propolis in Everclear. Everclear goes in the mixture, my apple pie mixture.
I plan on getting a little bit this year, try to make some tincture. I got some on the shelf back there. I do feverfew tincture for my migraines.
How many swarms have you caught this year so far?
Me?
Yeah.
I just went on one swarm call. I had maybe 2 days ago. Let me see. And then I did the other removal I did was from a tree, and then I did one out of a roof, but only one swarm so far. I have bees all around my traps right now, but this cold snap is just holding everything back. I know the bees are ready to pop because all my colonies I did splits on had swarm cells that were ready to be capped.
Right.
And they're ready to go. I had to split them really hard just to keep them in the boxes. So I know, and my tree colony that I have out here, I mean, when you look into the hole, they're squirting out the front. They can't even fill into the tree. They're totally in there, but they're still blocking the entrance to the hole of the tree. So I know they're gonna, on Thursday morning, they're leaving. So I'm gonna catch them, try to catch them. I have off that day. Hopefully they don't go up too high again.
You didn't just put a trap out next to them?
You can just put a ladder in the back of your truck and get them like I do.
Yeah.
Climb.
Well, yeah, I got a bunch. I do have traps around, but I got a bunch of ways again. I got the long pole with the bucket. I got the ropes with the hook. I could throw it up there, but
You
no,
hang them down.
I can't get up on a ladder too high. That thing will be too top heavy. That thing will come down. That gravity's not my friend.
I finally got my new pole in 30-foot extension. He'll telescope down to 7 foot, out to 30 foot.
Well, Bruce, you know it's not the fall that'll kill you. It's that sudden stop at the end.
Yeah, that's the only part I don't like. Let me see. Propolis tendency. Oh yeah, no, I've never treated in my life, but no, some of the really, really heavy propolis was from ones that did die. That's why I was cleaning them out. And the ones that were alive, they do also have a lot of propolis, but I still have some die. But was really cool, like my favorite thing is that my favorite queen ever, I mean, that one survived again for a second time, and all, I think 4 of her daughters that I had, they all survived too, all in separate yards. So I think I might have a pretty good line that my junkyard bees.
That's the my mentor calls Hopkinized bees, right? Because he's been in the same area, same place for so long doing it that he just calls them Hopkinized around here. So that was my initial colonies that I got, and most of those were walkaways. And this year, I mean, I did order some queens like a year and a half ago, some of those Sassafras queens from Oliveris, but they didn't do too good, man. They just kind of fizzled out. So all my growth has been from just doing walkaway splits off the existing colonies I had. And then this year I bought some queens, and I got those 3 nukes from the guy that was selling them super cheap. That's why I bought them. And they're all doing good right now. So my splits are weak right now. They're queen right, but they're weak. And so I'm thinking I might add a frame of brood in there if I can get enough bees to stay in the box and not fly home. Might do that to try to bolster them a little bit, but other than that, we're gonna let them ride the storm and do what they do. But that one colony I checked today, I had to add another honey super on it because they were flat filling it up. So
I think I'm going to throw a couple of my supers in my vehicle, go to work tomorrow when I get off, swing by my yard, see if I need to put any on. I know that first split that I made that I marked the queen in there, she laid 1 frame both side, top to top, side to side, full of eggs. It wouldn't, no more room. And I moved that over into the other split that didn't have a queen return. And she done got another frame laid up. If she keeps laying like that, I'm going to make another split off of her.
Right. Seems like she's doing pretty good.
Yeah. If she keeps laying good like that, I think I'm going to put that Nicot system in there and see if I can get her to lay that up too. Make some queens.
Hometown Honey says he's got some angry bees on a Satsuma trees. They're ruthless. That's typically some of mine that I get too. I've only got 1 colony left that is kind of suspect. They're not so stingy anymore, but they just like to headbutt you a little bit, fly off your veil a little bit. But I think the flow is coming in now, starting to come in a little bit heavier. So they're starting to be more busy than worried about me.
Do you have dandelions down there right now, or are they done?
Yeah, we got them. We got them everywhere right now. At least on the side of the roads and stuff, Yeah,
I just got home from work today and I saw like it just came on all at one time. It's just completely yellow everywhere. My whole yard, all the roads, everybody's yard.
The majority of ours have already went to seed.
Yeah.
I've got all that's sativa. What do you call it? Sativa? Salvia. All the salvia in my front ditch. That you were right. I used the app. It's like, yep, that's what it is. I've got a bunch of it.
Can you get seeds from that for me? I would love that. That's a really cool looking plant. I've never seen wild salvia before. I have a couple different kinds here, but not that light purple looking kind. That was pretty cool looking. Was it pink or something?
That is purple color.
Yeah, that was pretty cool looking.
I had
Wow.
two choices: do my taxes or Sunday night beach chat. Hello, everyone.
Hey there, Blaine.
It's quicker to file the extension now.
Mm.
Well, you got till midnight tomorrow. What are you worried about? You got a whole 24 hours still yet. But I don't know. How would I get seeds off of it? That's the question.
Well, I'm the plant expert. No, when the flowers fall off, the spike will stay there, and once it starts to turn brown, you just got to very carefully snip that spike off where it is, because each one of those little flowers will have 4 seeds down in the base of it, and they'll fall right out if you like turn it over, they'll just spill out.
But I got to wait till it turns brown, the actual tree or the actual plant.
The part where the flowers are at, little where the buds are at now, will turn brown when they're done, when their seeds are ripe.
Well,
That's kind of like goldenrod. Once it starts turning that grayish brown color, then it's ready to harvest the seeds.
Yeah, well, goldenrod turns more to like a blowy type of very tiny dandelion.
Yeah,
seed that blows around.
I got some in a can somewhere back here. I gathered last year. I was going to spread, never did.
Yeah, William, Dry Cut Homestead caught a swarm recently.
That's good.
Oh yeah, in a trap or on a call?
It was on a bush.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it was a nice one. These glasses, damned if you do, damned if you don't. But
we got 2 newer people in here from Nebraska too. We got Frank Spees, and I seen another Brad up here. Look like they're both from Nebraska.
Cool.
I think he said it was a Facebook call. Okay, cool. I haven't gotten any Facebook calls on bees at all. Let me see. Nope. Not at all. Just make sure. Didn't get that last minute. No more freezes in your part of Texas?
Yep. They say once the pecans start coming out, freezes are done.
Huh. Look at that. This guy. What happens if you put a swarm in a box? You only have 3 drawn combs, and the queen lays them full, and the other frames aren't drawn out.
Well, they will start to draw them out as they need them.
Yeah, you got to be careful giving a swarm either not enough combs or too many, because if they just dump their guts right into the combs, then they got to refill up to draw. I only give them 1 frame, 1 drawn frame, that's it, and then they draw the rest really, really fast. You either got to give them just 1 or you got to give them all of them. You can't be in the middle, or you're gonna stall them out. At least that's just what I've found. Give them 1 or give them 10, or none. None is even faster.
Where they just start drawing out. I mean, I definitely think that, like with the combs, I've got everything. I've got foundationless. I've got plastic. I've got wood with plastic foundation. I've pretty much got the gamut on frames. And they definitely, as far as drawing comb, absolutely the fastest foundationless, I think they go faster on, because they can festoon in between and do both sides at one time, right? Where with plastic, they typically, they can't festoon, so they're going to do one side at a time. And I usually sometimes have to flip the frames around to get them to pull the other side out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and on plastic, the bees are all spread out on the surface. They're not working together on one point of the comb together, making it go fast, faster process. They're like all spread out,
Right.
It doesn't.
They're not organized. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But, have you noticed, like usually for me, they'll start in the center and they'll start making a comb, and then there'll be 2 small ones off the side, and then they grow them until they merge and connect them to the middle one. So,
Oh, you mean on one frame?
yeah, on one frame when you're doing the foundationless, when they're festooning on it.
I thought you meant, well, what I noticed is a lot of times they're making one big comb and then two other combs on the next frame over on each side a little bit. They're kind of drawing it like a I don't know, like the bigger one in the middle and then little ones on the side, and they're spreading it out. But yeah,
Right.
sometimes I see what you're talking about.
How there's like multiple little pieces of comb from the same frame, and then they just keep growing them until they grow together, and then they attach them together.
Yeah.
Let me see. Problem with foundationless is even wired ones are blowouts in the extractor. Yeah, I've had one blowout in the extractor, in this cheap extractor I've got. But that was truly foundationless, like no fishing line, no wire, no nothing, just comb on the frame. And I didn't realize that when I put it in there that it was like that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put it in there. I would have figured something else out.
Yeah, any of my brood frames, I don't ever put in my extractor, even though I run all wood frame with plastic foundation. I think I've only got 2 foundationless, but I don't ever put none of those in my extractor. I just run all my medium supers in the extractor.
Well, again, this year we'll have some deeps and some mediums, just because the way it's set up. I've got one of my colonies is a single deep as far as brood box, but they had a second deep on it, but they decided, yeah, we're just going to store honey up there. And then I lifted it up and put a medium super underneath it. And they're just now starting to work on the medium super. And it's been about a week in there, but they're still working, filling up the top.
I would like to do the deep boxes for my supers, but with my back, it ain't gonna handle it. So what I do as far as saving money, a lot of times you'll get a better deal buying like a kit. You got your bottom board, 2 deeps, and a medium. You'll get that cheaper than you will buying just individual deeps and then individual medium supers. So I get the bottom board, 2 deeps, and a medium with the cover for one price, and then I add an extra cover and an extra bottom board, and then just take that second deep and make a whole nother hive, because I run all single brood management.
Well, yeah, I'm shifting to that this year, so I've got a kind of a weird system going right now with the and I'm really worried because you guys are like, well, with single brood management, you got to watch them more, and then I'm like, but they have space up top. So it's like, if I keep putting supers on there, then they shouldn't really want to swarm, right? I mean, the way the system
to
is.
a point, they won't. You still have to watch how much brood they putting down in the box if you're running a queen excluder. Because if she fills it completely up, she feels like she's out of room then until some hatch and move up. But if they run out too quick, she may want to swarm. So you may have to take a frame of brood out, move to a weaker colony, and then either put a wax or a plastic foundation or just a empty frame in there for them to draw, give them something to work on. I find it's easier to do like hive equalization or colony equalization. If you got one that's laying strong to keep them from swarming, you just take a frame or 2 out and move it to somewhere else that needs it.
I'm trying to follow the comments here. I see a chain going on. I have not tried OTS queen rear. What is OTS?
On the spot queen rearing.
Oh, taking the queen out and letting the colony produce queens. That's my MO there, baby. That's how I expanded last year. I don't graft. I didn't take the queen out, but I take a frame with bees and eggs and make a split and let them make their own queen, and they'll typically, it works best for me if I take a foundationless frame, brood frame out, and I'm moving it, and then all of a sudden they make 5 queen cells or 10 queen cells on that one frame in the new box, and then you either I was putting a piece of screen over it, like a queen cage type of deal, or going in them quite often. So where I know when one should hatch out, and then once one hatches, then I'll move the whole frame to another colony and add some bees and rinse and repeat. Still sloppy emergency cells. Well, I look at it like this. It could be sloppy emergency cells, but if you're pulling a frame that has brand new laid eggs on it, that nobody knows which one's better than the bees do, right? They're going to pick the best of what they have to work with, in my opinion. Do you agree with that, Bruce? Or do you, I mean, that's their whole thing, right?
Yeah,
they know how to raise bees.
They're all emergency cells if they're not swarm cells. So people who graft, they kind of have this thing that if you do splits a certain way and it's not grafting, that it's sloppy emergency cells. Or I used to get that from people all the time. It's like, tell me how they're not emergency cells. You're just putting them in a cell cup in a queenlet. I don't know. But to stay on, I guess the bees do choose their, whatever larva they want to use.
Well, they would know which eggs. I mean, now I've done that, like especially in the Demarest, when I've moved the whole brood box up. She's obviously got brand new eggs. She's just laid when you put it up there, so that gives them time to build queen cups and queen cells off of those eggs that are just getting ready to hatch. So you would think they would know better. The bees would know better than me which larva is the best larva to pick,
What I've seen some of them do, just to kind of, I guess, make a suggestion to the bees, we're just guessing, but they'll take that frame that's got all the drawn eggs in it, in the bottom of 2 or 3 of the cells, they'll push them down to where the cells kind of opened up on the bottom, give them room to draw a queen cell down off of that without them having to remove wax in the bottom of it.
Oh, sloppy as in harder to handle, got to cut out and all. No, I can see that. Yeah, it's a little more work when it comes to that. I don't know if it's any more work than pulling the frame and grafting into cups and making a starter,
a builder, finisher. Yeah, I mean, as a hobbyist like myself, I mean, there's easier ways to do it on a small scale. But yeah, it is a little bit, cutting them can be, I've messed them up trying to cut them, squeezing them.
Right. Well, with my nukes, I mean, here it's warm enough, and Lee could probably do it too. I mean, Barnyard Bees, he'll do it. He'll take one frame of bees and put it in a 2-frame box with one frame of bees with eggs and larvae on it and a blank frame. And that's his split. That's his queen split.
I'm thinking about trying one like that this year. I have one of the 2-frame mating nukes. I bought it like 2 years ago when I first started, and I've never used it.
Well, I've got those 10 frames that we routed out the slots for it, but I still haven't gotten any sign material and done that work. I mean, now I got to go get, some plywood and cut the plywood and all that. So So here's my dilemma, my personal mental struggle that I have. A sheet of 3/4 plywood's like $50. From Man Lake, you can get a queen castle for $54, and I have to do nothing.
It's already built and ready to go.
Right. So that's where I'm like, do I go through the hassle of doing that work, or do I just order it? And
well, is the Man Lake box made out of plywood though? Isn't it
actual pine? Yeah, I think it's real wood. Yeah.
I have plywood stuff that, man, it looked great when I got it. It was, but it's not really that great right now.
Well, I
absorb water.
I would have to buy the plywood to make the separators for the lid, right? The lid separators in between the corrugated walls for the thing, and then I would have to cut a 3/4 inch slip piece to block off the entrance so I could drill entrance and exit holes on the boxes. So I mean, that's why my little splits, I'm not too worried about them right now. I wish they had some more bees in them, and they probably will as the season goes on and some of these colonies get a little bit stronger. But I felt like I set myself back this year because I went ahead and did those early splits, which kind of set me back when none of them made it. And so I went ahead and, kind of tried to let them build up and then make splits. So now I feel like some of my colonies are strong and some of them are like, what the hell did I do that for? Type of thing. So hopefully they can build up fast enough.
Yeah, I'm afraid with this cold snap we're having here, like the splits I made weren't weak, but if I would have known it was going to be 30 degrees at night, I would have waited until Thursday to do it. But because if they're getting ready to, they're already in the process of making queens now for the past couple of days. So, man, if it gets cold and I'll basically just have to start all over again.
Yeah. I've killed one split like that this year, made it just a little early, and like 2 or 3 days later, we had a cold snap come through. And when I finally got back over there to check them, they were all just nosedive into the cell dead.
Well, what's happened to me is like I'll add a frame of brood, it'll get cold, they'll all cluster up, and then that big frame of brood that I just brought out of a big colony gets chilled, other than like a little space of it, right? The whole ring around the outside is all dead. And it just wasn't good, and now it's starting to stay warmer where I could probably have made those now, or if I wasn't catching them out of the trees by now. But it just seems like I set myself back. Yeah, I mean, they could use more bees, but the main thing about the 2-frame walkaway splits is mainly to make a queen, just make queens. They will build up. I mean, it just takes them a while. I mean, you're going to have that brood hatching out that you put in there with them, and the bees that are in there. And speaking of that, the splits, the one of the things that really, I think, hurt us down here was, yes, we have nice weather, but we had nice weather, and then 3 days later it was snowing, and then it was nice weather again. Then, it just was a constant temperature fluctuation. And I think the queen would start, and then the old bees would break cluster and start flying, the winter bees that are supposed to make it longer, and they just wore out. And then when I did the splits, the early splits, I took brood that they should have had in the spring to help build up faster, right? Well, they were gone into nukes that ended up dying. So old bees dying from the winter, and less of a force in there to generate more bees, which is just kind of, some of my colonies do not look lovely right now. One of them
you got snow this year?
Yeah.
I don't think we had snow since 2016.
We get it about once a decade, and then that's
not how we are.
We had it a Saturday. Then by the middle of the week, it was 78, and then the next Saturday, it snowed again. So it didn't hang around a real long time, but it's just that breaking cluster, clustering, breaking cluster, clustering. Having days that they can go out and forage, come back in. So when it gets cold, right, the queen's going to slow down. So maybe winter's not over, and she's going to slow down her laying. And then all of a sudden it's warm again, so she speeds up. But then it gets cold again, and it's like, it's like, I'm confused. So I know she was probably confused with the weather.
Even last year when they had that big Arctic blast kind of come across the whole United States, I think we were down in the teens for several days here, 20s and all too. And we never got one flake of snow come down, nothing but rain and ice.
We got it this year. Now, nothing like Bruce will get snow-wise, but then again, when it snows there pretty much over the winter, though, you're cold when it snows the whole time, right? It's not going to like 70 and then back down and snowing.
No, well, I mean, it did that a little bit in March. And yeah, March was just up and down. It would be 75 and then snow the next day. A little bit of that, yeah. But no, from November up to March, it was pretty much cold most of the time. But not like punishing cold, but in the teens, teens and 20s.
I remember in 1989, you guys had that big citrus freeze where all the orange trees froze. And they had pictures of like oranges that were encased in ice down in Florida. Last year, we got to ice skate on the pond in Oklahoma.
Here in Baton Rouge, about every year or two, they got a little place they'll flood it and then freeze it and make an indoor ice skating ring for us. But that's the most ice skating we're going to get around here.
And I bet you that place gets packed too.
Oh, yeah,
for the novelty of it.
I haven't went, but the old lady, she's brought the kids down the road, all their friends. She'll take them over there.
So what's next on your agenda, Bruce, for like this week coming up when it's supposed to warm up for you?
Well, I definitely got to split whoever I didn't split yet. And I know the swarm calls are going to just come piling in all at one time because of this cold. They were all the bees were ready to leave. I know that all the tree colonies and feral colonies, they were ready to go probably the past couple of days, but they're going to all leave at the same time on Thursday. So I'll probably have like a 10 or 12 swarm day. That's what I think. And then, but I was approached by a really big outfit to put some hives on their like really scenic property. And I was wondering if you guys knew, how would you set that up for somebody that wants to maintain 2 colonies for, say, their kitchen, like their $1 million kitchen, just to go take care of some bees. I asked a few people, and the numbers are all over the place. And I mean, I love messing with bees. I don't mind doing it, but I definitely don't want to go do it for nothing. What do you guys think about that?
Well, Lee's actually got out yards. I don't have any. I just have mine right here.
Yeah, but you're talking about managing them for somebody else, correct?
For someone else, yeah. Just start. I was going to start suggesting maybe 2 colonies, and they want the honey.
So they want all the honey, and you do all
that
the
doesn't
work?
bother me because I hate dealing with honey. But I've never managed bees purposely for honey. I still get a lot of honey, but I don't chase flows and try to really maximize honey production. I've never done that for myself, but I would actually do it for them because that's what they want, and just see how well I can do. I'll probably stink at it, but it's not in my range of my bees. So, but it is definitely. I mean,
are they going to buy all the equipment and everything, or you got to provide it?
They would buy everything: equipment, bees, everything. I would just be kind of the bee caretaker and help set up the apiary at the beginning. Maybe like visit once a week for an hour. It's only 2 colonies.
Is it far out of your way, or is it close to where you're at?
It's 20 minutes from my house if I drive nice and easy.
I don't know. I mean, if they're going to want to keep everything, then you could either do a monthly fee. I mean, it's time, right? So it's 20 minutes each way. So that's 40 minutes. You're damn near an hour in already, plus gas, right? And then
whatever time you're there too.
And then are they going to, I mean, obviously they got a lot of money if they live in $1 million house or $1 million kitchen. So the thing is that, are they going to get honey extracting equipment, or are you having to go through the headache of boxing it up and carrying it back to your place to extract it and then carry it back to them?
Well, these are the things we'll have to talk about because I'll meet with this outfit, sometime this week. And
if that's the case, it would be more beneficial to you to raise honey colonies, take it back, extract the honey out, and just sell them at the going rate of the honey, however much the honey is that it produces, because they're not going to get more than they produce anyway. And otherwise there's no benefit. I mean, we have beekeeping, like, I don't know what you call it. They'll extract your honey for you. You just take the boxes to them, they extract it, put it in buckets, and hand it back to you for whatever their fee is. I would rather let them. I don't want to extract honey. I got too much of my own things to do, so I don't mind doing the hour a week
dealing with 2 colonies and just keeping them queen right and giving them room and stacking supers on them. And then the end, I guess in the end, I would say, here's a card where you can have your honey extracted for your kitchen. I just want to stay out of that.
Right.
But
yeah, I mean, I would.
A monthly fee is what I thought of too. Like, as you said, I think a monthly fee, flat fee of just basic beekeeping.
So charge them like 5 hours a month or something, whatever your monthly rate is going to be. I'd charge them like 5 hours, 4 for the actual time you're there, the 5th one for the gas to get back and forth.
So what do you think a beekeeper should make per hour poking around in the hives?
Well,
that I wouldn't know where to start.
Yeah, see, it's crazy.
It's always, to me, it always would depend on the customer's attitude, right?
Well, they're very pro bee. I did a removal for them. They were happy to pay for that. It's good connection for me. It's an estate that's just hundreds and hundreds of acres of swarms I would be called about anytime there was one there, whether it's related to those colonies or something from the bushes.
Yeah, William said tell him to get some flow hives.
Flow hive, yeah, I thought that too. And as put them in the boxes, saying that's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking right around that range, 40. I was thinking somewhere between 30 and 50, and then I settled on 40 in my mind. So
I'll say you'd be a crane operator then.
So 40 times 5 hours, $200 a month.
$200 a month.
That's probably like toothpick money for a big place.
Yeah, but that's still $2,400 a year.
I wouldn't be there in November and December and January and February either, really.
Yeah, but they might be the people like, the bees died. Just get some more bees. $20 an hour plus 50 cents a mile. There's all kinds of we're getting all different formulas. Well, start high and let them. Obviously, they got money. They like to hold on to it, so they're gonna counter offer you, or they'll say no. Either way, you win because it's less headache on you.
The funny part is, I talked to a couple people who do this. That's the thing that they do, but it's in other states, and they actually charge like way more than $40 an hour. It would blow your mind, but I don't want to say any numbers that in case they end up watching this and they don't want me talking about it. But it was a lot of money. I would quit my job for just maybe 2 contracts. That's all I need.
I like Randy's
$225 a month, like the almonds. Well, that is true because if they're into that kind of stuff, they probably have a garden, which is probably why they want the bees, right? To pollinate their stuff.
I think it's for some type of certification for being like a nature
agriculture type of exemption on taxes.
Well, no, not that. Like if you have a big, what do you call it? Like when you're very pro the environment, you get like a green sticker of approval from somebody from the state. But so they want to make it more pollinator,
like a bee sanctuary type of deal.
Yeah, like that. Oh, there's a good point. If they want to be over your shoulder asking questions, oh yeah, well that's going to be definitely double time.
That's the first question. When are you guys typically at work? 9 to 5. Okay, I'm coming every other Tuesday at noon.
Oh my god.
or every Tuesday at noon, whenever they're gone. That's when you want to be there. If you can.
It's like electrician. It's $45 an hour, $55 an hour if you want to watch, $75 an hour if you want to tell me how to do it.
Right.
Well, I went to do a very straightforward removal a couple of days ago, and on a ladder, they already took everything apart, but I showed up and I'm like, okay, I got all my stuff. I'm ready to go. So, all right, just go back to whatever you're doing and I'll take care of this. I'll let you know when I'm done. I got to the top of the ladder and looked down and there's 4 people standing there with their staring at me for the entire time that I was there, talking to me the entire time.
Oh, I would have accidentally dropped a piece of cone with.
I was dropping stuff. I was like, I had my kid helping me. And it was just weird. I don't know how to say, like, can you guys like just go? I mean, they're filming me and everything.
Right.
Like, go back to what you were doing, please.
Just drop about 30,000 bees on them. They'll leave in a hurry.
Yeah, well, this one didn't have many bees in it, but I was like, you can watch it all on YouTube. I'll make a video of it. But yeah,
yeah.
The only one that I've had sit there and watch me, I had to go pull bees out of a business about an hour away. They had the brick and mortar office in the front, and then they had 3 modular like trailer buildings in the back that were labs. They done some kind of radiation testing on chemicals. Anyway, I had to pull a swarm out from under one of the trailers, and they sat there and watched me. I guess insurance purposes there, maybe making sure I didn't accidentally get hurt or purposely get hurt.
We want more people in bees. We want a good rep. That's true.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't. I'm venting it to you guys, but you know, at the time, I was just like, yeah, okay, yeah, no, I didn't find the queen. No, I didn't find the queen. Every 5 seconds, you know, that's usually what it is. You find the queen. You find the queen. Is there honey in there? Can we get the honey out of there? Oh man.
Well, you may not want this honey because we don't know what was sprayed in here ever, you know. But yeah, unfortunately, I haven't been on that many removals. I've only done a church and then like a bee tree, which I ended up, and I wasn't able to trap out the bees out of the tree, but I was able to catch 2 swarms out of the tree when I went. There was 2 very nice clusters on different branches, so I was able to catch both of those. They had multiple queens, but I really haven't been on that many removals. A couple swarms, you know, shake out of the bush things, and that was about it.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out of doing those. Unless they're very straightforward and easy, you know, popping a piece of plywood off and they're right there. Yeah, but I do not like digging into roofs and walls and
being going up in people's attics. And
yeah, it takes up too much time during swarm season. I do not want to be I don't want to be on my back in a puddle of honey and my phone's ringing because there's a 5-pound swarm 2 feet off the ground in a bush. I mean, you know, near my house.
Right.
It's like, man, there's much easier ways to get bees unless you really know how to get people to pay a lot of money. Here they don't want to pay money. They'll just spray them.
They'll just kill them out.
Yeah.
But they won't. And then even if they do kill the bees, then they have the roaches to deal with that are going to go after the honey that's in the walls.
Yeah. But they don't care.
I found roach bombs inside of cavities. Yeah, William does some removals and stuff where he's at. The foggers. Oh, so they just like put a fogger in the wall and let it go? That's crazy.
A lot of them think you just get rid of the bees and the problem's gone. That just causes more problems because if the bees ain't in there to fan and keep the comb cooled down, it's going to overheat, melt, and then you got honey running down your wall, coming through the sheetrock.
I had a guy call me yesterday. He said, I want to know if you can come get these bees out of my wall. And it was behind siding. It was in the corner of the roof. So I was already not really liking it. So I asked him to send me pictures, and I couldn't see any bees in the picture. I said, well, I don't know if you have bees there. I don't see any bees in the picture. He's like, well, there's only a couple flying around. And I said, well, maybe they're just checking it out. They might not have moved in yet. So maybe you could put like a strong odor up there and to keep the scouts from moving in. And he goes, no, there was a lot here. And I said, well, let me ask you this. Were there bees there last year? And he said, yeah, there was bees there like crazy last year. And I said, but there's none now. And he goes, yeah, but that's because my exterminator was here this morning and he sprayed some powder up in the hole. And I'm like, why did you call me that?
Yeah, why did you call me after?
Yeah, he called the exterminator first to put powder in there. And then noticed that there's, 5-10 foragers coming back and wants me to go in and now remove them. I'm glad he opened his mouth and said that because
it's illegal in South Carolina for exterminators to kill honeybees.
Yeah. I don't think it's illegal here. A lot of people think it is, but
yeah, same here. A bunch of them will tell you it is, but it's not. But
I actually had the Orkin man tell me.
If I get a call and they say that they've tried to spray anything in there within the last year, I won't touch them. Now, if it's been over 2 years and they sprayed, and then those bees have died, more bees have moved in, kind of somewhat cleaned up after 2 years, I might go mess with it. But other than that, I ain't gonna take a chance of getting bees, bringing back here to my home, and then they just die out anyway after working.
Well, I told him he's going to have a whole new problem on his hand that I'm not going to be able to help him with. And, when all those bees rot in his wall and all that stuff, it's going to stink. He's like, do you know anybody else? I said, oh, yeah, I know somebody else. But I'm not telling you who it is because then you're not going to tell them I sent you to cut out a rotten colony.
Yeah. He says in Ohio you can't do it either. Yeah, you can't kill them.
Really?
In y'all states, do y'all have the license plates for your vehicles with the honeybee?
I don't know if we got that here.
We got it here in South Louisiana. You can pay, I think it's extra $30 or $35 a year I pay, and you can get a license plate that says "Save the honeybee." You got the little honeybee and all that on it, kind of for bee conservation.
But do they actually give that money to beekeepers, or what do they do with it? They just give it to the state?
I think it goes to the state for bee conservation, possibly the colleges or whatever, maybe for research and development studies for bees.
Peter Gunn says Tennessee has them. My best swarm catch was at Walmart in the outside flower section. Oh, that would have been crazy. Could you imagine like a Lowe's or Walmart in their garden center where a swarm just lands inside the garden center?
Yeah, we have a Lowe's here. The swarm lands there every year. Somebody always beats me to it every time. So I've never actually gotten to get them. But it's surrounded by woods, so they're probably coming out of the woods there.
Just go back in the woods and hang you a swarm trap back there.
I'm thinking of it. I'm sneaking up there and just hanging up. But I think there's some like people that live up there not in homes, but like in tents in the woods.
Rhonda said they have it too, the plates.
I don't know if we have it. I don't support bee conservancy, not honeybees. I mean, maybe the bumblebees.
I don't know if South Carolina has it. I would have to look. Let me see. SCDMV plates. Let's see. License plates, South Carolina. Antique plates, military plates, license plates. Organizations requesting a personalized plate gallery. They got everything else: amateur radio, Revolutionary War, Masons, autism awareness. I guess I got to get the bees, right? Boykin Spaniel Foundation has one.
Sounds kind of like stamp collecting to me.
Yeah,
got all your different types.
They got all kinds of different plates. Every university. Let me see.
Yeah, I found that great stuff foam. The bees that chew right through that quick.
Let's see.
Since I don't do honey, I mostly produce bees really, and I enjoy keeping bees. I really am interested in selection for survival. I select for we
don't have it.
The most resilient bees there are on the planet. So that's what I like to do. They still make honey. I still end up with honey. I still put honey supers on, but I don't intensively manage them for honey. I don't treat bees. It's not that serious. I still end up with a lot of honey. I mean, to me, a lot.
I like Bobby Bees there.
New York Yankees called me to remove a swarm in Monument Park.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be on YouTube for sure. You see head, caulk, and foam all over the place. Bees, yeah, they do. But even when you tell the person, hey, you need to do something about this. This is only a temporary fix. They still don't. Much harder to chew through insulation.
Yeah, I've heard some of them, they'll take like the steel wool, stuff it in the hole a little bit, and then put the great stuff foam in that. That way, if anything tries to chew in, they encounter the steel wool, and they usually won't try to chew through it.
That's the
Could
same
you
thing I heard for rats.
Yeah. It'll, like a rat, it'll cut their mouth all up.
I need to have. That's what I'm about to do for Ratmageddon, probably. Dude, I freaked out. I am not a rat person, mouse person. That is not my thing. Insects, I'm okay with mostly, not roaches. But when you look at when you open up your little storage shed and there's huge rats, I'm not talking field mouse here. I'm talking New York City prime 8 to 8 inch rat. You know,
I had a swarm trap in my neighbor's yard from last year that I forgot to bring in, so I brought it right next door to my place to open it up and get it refreshed. And there was a big mouse nest in there. It was all fluffy and really nice and cozy looking. And I poked on it, and this really big mouse came out. It wasn't a rat, but it was a big mouse. Like, it looked like a hamster with a long tail. And I just kind of shooed it away, and then I just kind of opened the mouse nest up to see what was in there. There was like 10 little pink babies in there. So I felt bad. I got the mouse back because she ran into a different box. I dumped her back into the box and put the lid on.
That same thing happened when I was cleaning the porch off. They weren't pink, they were gray, but they still had their eyes like closed. But they were in a fish bowl that was in the box that they had just put a bunch of nest material in. And every time I would take some off, they would just kind of burrow down a little bit deeper into it.
Yeah, so they were like juveniles.
Yeah.
These things were like, these were bald, shiny pink. They look like they're plastic and they were moving around. I mean, they must have just been born within the past hour or two. I said, I can't do it. I was going to feed them to the chickens, and I was just like, a little kid in me won't let me kill a little baby mice. So it'll feed the hawks and the friggin' raccoons and stuff eventually when they grow up.
I took that fish bowl out to the wood line and dumped it out and was like, well, Mama can find you. She can take care of you. But the next day they were gone. So I don't know what happened to them, but I felt like I didn't kill them, but they probably didn't make it, which with rats is okay with me. You know, I'm not a rat guy.
I've never seen rats. I've seen them at work and in the city. I've never had them in my house.
Tomorrow you'll see them. I'll take a clip. I'll do a short on YouTube, Ratmageddon, and see if you can catch the rat on the footage. I mean, these are not small rats. These are big rats. So,
Right, Sarah.
So I'm going tomorrow morning to get sunflower seeds and I got 5 gallon pails, sunflower seed, 5 gallon pail, and water, and see how many I can drown. Because if I could rid the whole planet of rats, I would.
Somebody say they went to a New York Yankees game to remove swarm. Daisy's honey. Did you see that?
Yeah, he said the Yankees called him to remove a swarm in Monument Park over there.
Is that what the stadium's called? I don't know. I've never been there.
Well, it used to be called Yankee Stadium. I don't know if it's a new stadium now.
That'd be some good exposure right there.
Speaking of rats, I used to hear stories about like the Boston Gardens. They said you couldn't watch a game in there without rats coming out while you were in there. They were totally not scared of you. Well, I live in the woods. I wish it would attract some rat snakes. I mean, I found rat snakes here and no rats. Now I've got rats and no snakes. And it could be because of the chickens. I don't know. I think probably the chicken scratch drew them in, the feeding. So
I said, heck, I used to have to buy mice and rats to feed my snakes.
I had a Burmese python that was like 18 feet long. I used to feed that sucker rabbits, big old rats.
I used to have the ball python. I used to breed ball pythons and red-tailed boas.
Yeah, the zoo came and took mine because I got a Chihuahua and I got too scared after that. I didn't want to have any accidents.
Accidentally, snake get out and can't find Fluffy the next day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that thing was mean though. My python was a rescue. Somebody had it stuck under their refrigerator. It was nearly dead. You picked it up. It was like picking up a sock, and it was only like 3 feet long. And I threw it in a box and took it home and just kept feeding it. Next thing you know, it had its own bedroom, and it was so long. It was so heavy. I think it was 100 pounds more.
That's crazy.
But you couldn't hold it. You had to open the door, throw the rat in, and then slam the door shut, and he would catch it. It was a mess. I don't know what I was thinking.
I ended up giving my two big boas, the male and female, to a pet shop when I moved. That was Sharon and Ozzy.
The Osborns.
Yep.
That's funny. I'm man. Oh God, these rats, they disgust me, man. I gotta get rid of them. That's gonna be the next episode, Ratmageddon series, I guess. And the thing was, on the porch, I know what it was. There was the dog food, because they were eating through the tote that had the dog food in it to get the dog food out. And but they couldn't get in the house because it's all brick, right? Everything was brick, but they could get through the screen and get in the porch, get in the boxes. And then when I took the boxes out, well, then they just hauled ass everywhere. And evidently some of them found their way into that shed, because sometimes I leave the door open. So now there's rats in that building. So now I gotta, if any of you guys got any exotic pets you want to come sit on the shelf in there for a short period of time, they'll have an all-you-can-eat buffet probably. I thought about getting my my air rifle and just shooting them and trying to kill them, but I got so much junk in there. Now I don't even want to start pulling junk out because I'm afraid that the rats will just start running out, which they will.
That's the question right there will cause complete havoc in a Facebook chat room. People will fight, like bloody fist fight, over the answer to this question. What do you guys say? Because I already know what I say.
Well, the problem, if you don't want to lose any foragers, what you could do is take a weak nuke and the colony you want to move, and move that big colony wherever you want to move it, and then replace it with a smaller colony. And then when the foragers return, they should be accepted into the weaker colony when they come back in. So you're not technically losing them. You're losing a little bit from the nuke you're moving, or the smaller colony you're moving to that spot. But the bigger colony that you're moving away should be all right. Hey, Bruce.
The other option, I would say, if you want to keep all the foragers for that colony, I would wait to dark once everything's back in the hive. Even if you move it in the same yard, move it to another location and lean a branch against the front of it. That way, when they come out, they got leaves in their way, and they'll do a orientation flight most of the time, reorientate to the new location. Other than that, you may have to move them 3 miles away for them to reorientate.
Yeah, I'm not moving. All my bees are in the yard, which is part of my problem right now. Even when I put something in the hole or in front of the hole, it seems like maybe I'm too slow and the bees are getting back too quick. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that, or I've heard moving it in the same yard, like you said, just taking some grass and stuffing in the hole about 3/4 of the hole. That way, when they go to come out, something's in the way. They try to move the grass, and then they'll reorient.
And hey, we got a lot of people on, so I'll just repeat what I said earlier when we didn't have so many people on, that Ian Stepler has agreed to come on the Tuesday night, but we can't say it's this Tuesday night because we haven't got confirmation this Tuesday night, but he said he would come on. So we're trying to figure out what Tuesday night. So it could be this Tuesday night, could be the next Tuesday night. It's all about his schedule. And once we get clarification and it gets closer to that time, then we will definitely let everybody know. So Ian Stepler is planning to come by our regular live stream, which is Tuesday night, but we typically do, I don't know, what, 2, 3, 4 nights a week. We don't do Wednesday night because of the stream team. And typically we don't do if Cayman Reynolds comes on, especially when he goes like 2 hours, because then when we do 2.5, 3 hours,
It's midnight by then.
it's midnight by then. So, but sometimes we go, we'll have like our No Life Beekeepers chat. We'll have the Sunday night chat. We got the Tuesday night live, which is our normal chat.
Yeah.
And then
Normally Tuesday night at 7 Central, 8 Eastern.
well, we haven't missed that time yet. Except for last time though, this was great. You would have loved this one, Bruce. I don't know if you were there at the beginning. But
which Bruce are you talking to?
You.
Oh.
The one in the room. The one
Yeah, we got Bruce's bees in the comments section.
And we sat here, did the intro, we started talking, having our show, and Lee's like, hey, I don't know whose fault it is, but we might have a better show if we click the go live button.
We done the 2-minute countdown, started talking and everything. Wouldn't even lie.
And I was like, just hit the go live. We won't do the intro. We'll just come in hot. And so, yeah, it's, technical difficulties sometimes.
Every time I try to go live, you guys come into my notifications, and then I end up coming over here. That's why I haven't been live forever. I gotta.
Well, what night do you usually try to go live?
I don't. I just randomly get the feeling that maybe I should go live and talk about something that I saw, and then I just go. I just put it. I should plan something, but I don't really have.
We probably should too.
Well, we
we
do
got
have
Tuesdays
one
planned,
plan,
but the rest of the week it'll just kind of land. Yeah, hey, if we feel like it, we go for it. But if we see anybody else that's already online or somebody that's playing, we'll wait to either after or wait till another night.
like we were going to go at 8:00, and then we got a notification that Bruce was going at 8:00 with his premiere. So we're like, nope, we'll wait till his premiere's done, then we'll go after. Which benefits us because everybody's going to watch his video, and then we're going to be talking to each other for 30 minutes till it's done. So we try to be a little bit courteous. I have here. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers right now, and I'm not trying to be abrasive, but I am a little bit, I guess. This is
Are you gonna say what I'm gonna say? Go ahead.
So I'm gonna take an issue with Cayman Reynolds for a second. Not an issue with Cayman personally. It's just something he said that is kind of too double-sided. So on one side of the coin, he says that if people are manufacturers like Man Lake or suppliers, if they're not doing you right and it's too expensive, then the best thing we can do as beekeepers that buy supplies is just move our money and buy it somewhere else, right? And then on the other side of things, I hear, hey, we're going to have this product on. It's good American-made product, which I'm all for buying American-made. I absolutely am. Veteran, very patriotic. However, I'm not to the point to where I want to pay double or 30% higher for something you can get. Like I bought all licensed stuff. Why did I buy licensed stuff? Not because it's made in Poland. I bought it because for what I do and the price range that I could be in, I got more value for my money. And so I kind of took the first word, well, if you're not happy with the prices and stuff that people are giving you in the service, then take my business elsewhere, which is what I did. But, what do you guys think about that? I mean, aside from not Cayman, I'm just using that because that's what he says. He says, well, if you're not happy with the way something's doing, then as a beekeeper, move your business to somewhere else where you're satisfied. And then it's always buy American, buy American, buy American. But the buy American is way grossly overpriced, in my opinion.
I have the same outlook as you on that. I think I would rather buy American, but when it comes to that price market, I mean, am I going to spend $1,000 or $5,000 for the same item? Well,
Right.
not the same brand item, but the same thing that I'm looking for, an extractor or whatever. As long
Well,
as the $1,000 one is quality made, like the Polish, the licensed stuff, I would rather go with that.
do you have an opinion on that, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, I try to buy the best stuff that I can afford, but if I can tell, you can just look through the catalogs and see that some catalogs are just they have the exact same thing, and some are just way more than others, and then the shipping, some have free shipping, some don't. So sometimes I'm picking from 5 different catalogs things that I want, but um, woodenware and frames and things like that, I mean, that's mostly made here, right? I mean, that's not.
Yeah, I think so. Most of
Yeah.
that's here.
Yeah, I don't really buy too much stuff that's made everywhere else. Yeah. Any machinery. I don't have chain uncappers and 50 frame extractors or anything like that. So yeah, I just don't know about that.
Well, hey, Bruce's Bees. I liked the Hilco bottling tank for the price. I didn't like the Hilco bottling tank for the inlet and outlet valve. I didn't like that. That's the only thing. The only reason I didn't buy that one. I ended up going with the Lysen bottling tank.
Unbottling tank.
The Lysen unbottling tank. That's right. And so, definitely, if I could, man, I would have bought all American made, but you couldn't get the equipment that I bought for the price I got it buying it American made. I just couldn't have. So,
I mean, you look at the price difference of like our extractors that we have. I have a Date 20 frame, USA made. You got the 30 frame license, Polish. You can hold more capacity. It's still a quality product, but the price difference.
and
If I would have known then what I know now, I probably went with the license instead.
well, and one thing about the Lysen that for some reason some of the American made companies on equipment haven't figured out yet, like you have to tip your extractor when it gets down to the end to get the rest of the stuff out of it.
Yep.
Or not the
Well, for
extractor, the
this year,
bottling,
next year
tank.
I won't.
Your
Well, the
tank,
bottling
right?
tank, the outlet is right at the bottom of the inner jacket, so I mean it drains pretty good.
Where
Extractor tank, yeah, I have to tilt it over for this year. Next year I won't.
and
I got a
on
guy that's gonna weld a new outlet on the bottom for me.
and on the Lysen, they said, "Oh, well, we'll put the outlet in the bottom, and it's conical, so when it comes down, it comes right out of the valve." I mean,
Oh, somebody finally fixed that problem. That always
it's
bothered me that you have to lean everything for 10 hours to get that last couple bottles out.
yeah. So the Lysen extractor has it's got the spindle that comes up in the middle, but the bottom is shaped like a upside down cone, right, like a pyramid almost. So the honey drains down, but it drains right to the valve.
Yeah.
So you don't have to tip it.
See, that's how the Date extractor is. I have it. It has the conical bottom, but still the outlet is on the side of it instead of on the bottom. But I'm gonna have that changed.
Hey, Bruce, I bought the I'm the only person I know of that's going to be using this. I haven't seen any YouTube videos on it. Nothing. I bought the pneumatic valve with the foot pedal. So it's not
Hey,
automatic. But
Bruce, I don't know if you can see in the background here.
Oh,
it's got
okay.
the same tank.
That's the Maxent bottling tank.
So the pneumatic valve with the foot pedal is basically just like a regular valve, only it's got air pressure. So when you push on the foot pedal, it opens the valve and dispenses the honey. And when you let off the foot pedal, it stops. So it just depends on. I guess I'm gonna have to get my foot timing right to make sure I'm putting enough honey in the jar and figuring it out. But I'm sure there'll be a video on it. It's just not a. I haven't seen any videos on it. Yeah, that thing right there. So I hooked my compressor up to the line, and when you smash the foot pedal, it actuates the valve and lets the honey dispense out.
Until a rat runs under your foot while you're in there, and
They're not on my porch anymore. Not on my porch anymore. They are in my well house though, in my little pump house. So I gotta get them out. That's gonna come up. That will be on a video. Even if it's a clip, probably me screaming like a little girl and running off into the woods. That's probably what you're gonna see. Eek! And running.
Would that be the mouse or you squealing?
That'll be me squealing. The mouse, they just run. Well, I can't even call it a mouse. I think these things have been eating steroids. They got in somebody's. They're big.
It's a dog food. If you when rats get a hold of dog food over a good period of time, they high nutrition right there. Yeah, that's like pure protein.
Hey Bruce, and that no drip valve you were talking about, we all call that the one drip valve now. You do get that one last drop, and then it's no more drips.
Well, I'll be curious to see how this valve drips. That'll be interesting, the air valve. Well, you think that if it's air pressure holding it. I don't know if the air pressure holds it or if the air pressure opens it.
I would think that it would open it.
But if it kept it closed, then it would be a no drip valve.
Well, you got to figure if the air kept it closed and you turn your compressor off, shut everything down for the night, your valve would slowly open back up if you lost pressure.
That's true. And then I would have like 18 gallons of honey on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would have to say it opened the valve.
So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see adjusting the pressure. And hopefully it might be here this week. I don't know. Supposedly it's been sent out, or it's already got the bill of lading printed. So I'm sure it's been picked up. It'll probably get stuck in Harrisburg, PA for another week, like it was last time on the other gear. And we'll figure it out.
I got something for you to see on that valve you were talking about, the air on it.
Air to open valve. Okay. Spring. Oh, so a spring holds it down. So yeah. That's good.
That I would check the pressure setting in the manual too to make sure you don't overpressure. Actually, it says maximum allowed air pressure 140 psi.
Well, I'm hoping to run it off the little 6-gallon pancake.
Yeah. It's saying that's the max. Now it says normal operating is 85.
Silver Gorilla says he's got 2 60-gallon bottling tanks.
60 gallon.
And damn, that's 120 gallons of honey at a clip.
Dang.
That's a lot of honey.
I've got 15 gallons in here right now. I got to get bottled up, and probably another 15 gallons to put in after that to bottle for this coming weekend. So we got a big event.
And then you're going to sell the rest of mine.
I'm hoping that'll be enough, because they said in that 14-hour period, there's average between 12 and 20,000 people that come through.
Yeah, if you just sell 1% of them.
Yeah. So I'm going to have to have a lot of honey.
He's going to have to start getting 55-gallon drums of honey.
I'm about to have to go in there in a minute and work on more lip balm. I got another 200 sitting on the counter that was cooling whenever we started this.
Well, I mean, we have been going almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it is Easter Sunday.
And we still got 22 people in here.
I know. See, you can't abandon our people. We were at 30 people a little while ago. And then I said Ian Stepler's coming, and 8 of them ditched us.
Ian Stepler, I'm out of here. Bye.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, he's not coming tonight. We'll be back on Tuesday. And who knows? Randy might just be out driving through a McDonald's drive-through and jump in. He jumped in the other night again.
We done had McDonald's and we've had Arby's.
Arby's, yeah.
We're going to take bets on the next shop.
Sonic. I don't know if they got Sonics there. They probably have Sonic there.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, probably like Sonic. I think his favorite's McDonald's, though. I see him in a lot of McDonald's drive-thrus.
Making me hungry.
I saw JP put up a video today. I didn't get to watch it yet, though.
Yeah, it's all about catching swarms and different cheap ways to catch swarms. So, like cardboard box, banker's box, different kinds of boxes. He says you just gotta, move them pretty quick. You can't let them sit in there, otherwise they'll comb it all up for you.
Yeah. Good night, Rhonda. Yeah, he was kind of doing a video the way I took it, like any new people wanting to try to get into swarm catching and different stuff like that, explaining some of the stuff that you can use and might need. But I look back through his videos. This is his first video he's posted in like 7 months.
Not true. Not true. He was on our live stream.
Well, that he posted.
Oh, okay. You're right there.
He did come on the phone call on our live stream.
So that, you know what? I really thought that would have more views than it does. But I don't know. Maybe people can't find it because it's on mine and your small channels.
Yeah, he'll take time, but he'll get there. Yeah, I got to look, and JP probably might be 45 minutes from me in Metairie. It ain't too far away.
Let me see how many views that thing's got.
I think when they look at that video and they see that it's like 4.5 hours long, they're probably like, I don't know. That's what I do. When I see a 4-hour video.
I think our best yet is what, 5.5?
It was 3 hours and 18 minutes, and it's only got 330 views after going live. I don't think it, after the live, that's when it really starts tracking the video views. It'll say so many during the live stream or whatever like that, but I think that's how it works. I don't know, but it's only 330. It's what it says on here. But just because the way that one went down, I mean, it was only supposed to be Jeff, and then I had talked to Randy, and I was like, well, Mr. Ed's coming on tonight if you got time. He's like, I might stop in if I got a chance. And then he's popped in, and then next thing, Yappy was in there, and then JP was in there. I was like, well, we had to shut down the stream because Yappy and Randy didn't want to get out. They were ready to keep going.
Yeah, Frank Spees has 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern on Tuesdays night is our regular scheduled live.
And then these other ones are just kind of impromptu hangouts, chat with you guys. And,
No Life Beekeepers.
Yeah, No Life Beekeepers. That's usually Saturday night or Friday night when we should have a life and be out doing something. No, we're at home sitting in our rooms on the computer. We don't even play video games. We can't even be the guy that lives in the basement and plays video games.
Mm-hmm.
We're like the guy that lives in the basement and talks about beekeeping all day long. But yeah, those are long. But there is a method to that madness, Bruce. And especially, I'm going to tell you guys, if you're new to YouTube and you've got a YouTube channel and you're trying to get watch hours, the best way to do it is with these live streams. Long live streams.
That, and if you do premieres while everybody's commenting in the comment section and you talk back and forth, that's showing more activity on your channel. And it goes into the YouTube algorithm showing activity that people are talking to you talking to them, and people are watching. Yeah,
premieres are definitely my favorite way to do it now. Seems like I get more views and more interaction. Not always does it work because sometimes YouTube decides that, it's going to take us 3 days to process this HD video. And the one that I post after that is already done processing HD. So it's kind of.
I don't know. I hear a lot of people talk about the algorithm, but they don't. A lot of people talk about it, even not just you guys, but if you do this, YouTube does this. And if you do that, YouTube. But how do they know that? It's almost like if you don't work at YouTube, you don't really know what they do.
Yeah, right. I think it's kind of a guesstimation.
It all sounds good, but there's I don't know. I finally cracked 800, which I don't push it. I
Right.
like the 800 that I have are mostly people that just found me. I can't do the clickbait titles everybody's doing right now or the coattail chasing, but
I did
Like
one
when,
clickbait,
kind of like
man.
when people put on little clickbait things talking about they quitting experiments.
Yeah, that one.
no, it's like you'll never believe. It's like, yeah, we've seen. Yeah,
Yappy does that every time.
Uh,
That's the Yappy's title.
he does it every video now.
And that's what, 25 million views?
Oh yeah, it worked.
It worked somewhere there.
I don't want to ever get to where I'm just constantly doing that though.
But see, guys like you and Yappy and people that are do cutouts, I think you guys get a crossover audience where people like me and Lee are pretty much just people that like beekeeping, where you guys get people, oh crap, look at this huge swarm. And let's, this is crazy, especially Yappy's when he, shaking it down on this truck or whatever. And he's, people find that very interesting as compared to, okay, guys, today I'm going through my colony.
Another inspection.
Hey, look, I found this queen
There's
today. Yeah, I mean, it gets to the point. It's like, how many times can you make a oxalic acid treatment video? How many times can you talk about making pollen patties? How many times, it's like you get to a point to where it feels like you're doing this, you're rehashing the same stuff, Oh, and to go right back to the equipment thing. So I don't know why I do that, man. It's just me. So you guys will get used to it where I just like randomly, oh yeah, back to this. So what I find is so interesting about the whole beekeeping price conundrum is we do everything we can, build boxes, build our own swarm traps to save money, right? To cut corners, to do things cheaper, like for instance, like my queen castle that I got to now go buy signboard in to cut to make the dividers and all that. Do everything we can to save money on stuff like that. But then we spend a crap ton of money on equipment, like extracting equipment and bottling tanks. And, it just is kind of weird. To me, it's like we're all cheap as hell when it comes to like building woodenware. Oh, well, I can use this old pallet wood and I'm going to throw together this box. And that's how, you understand, you see what I'm saying? Where it's kind of like perplexing, right? It's like, I like to save money to, where I can as well. But it's just like, we seem like we're very thrifty on one side of things. But then on the other flip side, I'm like, I just spent $4,000 on buying this extractor. And, and that's me personally, guys. I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody. I'm talking about me. And
I spend very little money, man. You guys got $500 Oxy vapor machines, and
I bought that before I had my first bee. I had a vaporizer.
I've never seen one of those in person. Just tons of free bees. When you get paid to remove bees and then sell the free bees to somebody, and then or keep them for a little while and get 100 pounds of free honey from free bees. It's hard to lose money, really. I mean, you
bought the boxes, right? You had to have some expense.
You buy the boxes. A lot of times I buy them from people that are getting out of it. I'll just, if they sell them, I get them for cheap, or really save money with not using foundation and saving time, not waxing plastic foundation all the time. But yeah, like I don't produce a ton of honey, so that's the main thing. But
like all these frames I got behind me waxed out.
Yeah, man. I'll use them in the supers, but yeah, you can.
I bought them waxed. So I haven't re-waxed them. First year I'm just on those, so putting them in. But
and I used to spend a ton of money on sugar every year, spending like thousands of dollars on sugar. And last year I didn't feed a drop and had like my best winter ever. So I don't know if I'll feed again. Somebody got a Jano Vap for 150. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but Jano, he stopped making them. And now Larabi's is making them, and that's what Lee's got, a Larabi. But I literally bought my Pro Vap before I had my first bee. when I was getting my
Yeah.
initial stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to. Everybody on YouTube says Varroa mites are so bad. I need to go ahead and get this, and I wasn't gonna buy it. My wife's like, well, you got the money now, you might as well go ahead and buy it. And then the store I was at said, oh yeah, and I'll give you, whatever. I ended up paying like $4.25 for it instead of $4.95, but still, yeah, I mean, it's $500 either way you look at it, So it's just, I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Frank's B's asking, what's the best swarm trap setup, or what is yours? I guess each individual.
My number one best favorite swarm trap setup is 2 5-frame nukes stacked up, 1 frame of drawn comb. The rest are foundationless with starter strips, solid bottom board, solid top, strap maybe 5 or 6 feet into a tree with a squirt of Swarm Commander or some real lemongrass oil. You got to make sure you have the real stuff. And put it in the
do not taste the Swarm Commander.
Yeah, put it in the shade or somewhere that just gets a tiny bit of sun. But anytime if you veer off of that in too many ways, like putting a bunch of plastic foundation there, or smaller, or so if you veer too much, it just messes it up. I mean, if you want perfect, to me, that's perfect.
Yeah. If you put too much of that plastic foundation in, they see it as just something in the way at first, and they don't have enough room really.
Yeah, I mean, you'll always have people. It happens to me every time I try to talk about swarm trap. Well, I did it this way and caught one, or like I'll say, don't put honey in there. Don't put honey in. They'll say, well, I caught a swarm with honey. It's like, okay, there's going to be outliers and people that are just damn lucky, but I've never caught a swarm in a box that had honey in it. I just caught ants and caught yellow jackets and mice. But yeah, just don't put honey in there. Black comb. I like foundationless frames. I loved seeing what feral bees do on their own. And
do they start drawing a bunch of wacky comb in there, or do they just kind of take it and run with the strip? And
no, if you have good, nice, a starter strip of plastic comb across the top that's waxed, they're gonna stay pretty well on. If it's level, perfectly level, side to side, I very rarely have wonky comb in a swarm trap. Now I mean they're pretty straight most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've caught 0 swarms in a swarm trap. 0.
Oh man! So how many swarm traps do you put out each year?
I've got one that's been on the back of my lot since before I got my first bees, strapped up to a tree, and I lure it, nothing.
What's in it?
It's got it's got some old comb in it and some Swarm Commander. Now it's probably got a bunch of Swarm Commander vials in it because I keep redoing it. But I should go refresh it.
Yeah, one trap. I'd maybe switch out whatever comb you have in there. It might have totally got brittle and dry and it's just dust by now. Put a nice fresh old one in there with no honey. Is it big enough? What is it, a nuke or is it 10
just
frame
a box? Nuke box.
Yeah. This time of year, you want a 10 frame box up there at minimum.
That's what I need to start doing.
I'll just stack a nuke on top of it and put.
Yeah, 2 nukes always works really good for me. I mean, two 5-frame nukes. It's the same as a 10 frame, but they seem to like that kind of taller.
Because it's a long, narrow cavity.
Yeah, and do you have it out in the sun?
No, it's strapped to a tree in the back of my lot underneath the tree covers.
How about what's your entrance look like? Is it big or small?
It's big. It's the bottom of the whole bottom of the 5-frame nuke.
Oh yeah, definitely block that. Only leave like an inch.
Yeah, just something small. What I did for my swarm traps last year, I used assembled nukes from Better Bee as a 5-frame deep, solid bottom board, migratory cover. And if you can get them to go in there, once they go in after dark, rotate that little door around to vent to where they're locked down, transport them where you need them. I caught 3 swarms in 3 weeks in the same box.
In a single nuke?
Yeah.
So that must...
They're a little bit smaller swarms because they're just going into a single nuke.
So that must have been a little bit later in the season then, right? Like
End
June.
of April. I believe it was right close to the end of April. I caught them, but I caught 3 of them in 3 weeks, same box, same exact location.
Yeah, like the swarm I got the other day was easily 15 pounds, so they would have never got. They barely got into a 10 frame box,
Yeah.
and yeah, they would have never moved into a trap. You know, if I would have hung just regular nuke boxes, or probably not even into a 10 frame box. I kind of crammed them in there.
Jason, I have heard of swarm science, meaning I've seen it, but I don't have any experience with it at all. Lee's got one.
What's that?
Lee's working on a swarm lure.
Queen puree.
Basically, I mean, it's kind of on the same lines of the lemongrass oil and another essential oil that they seem to be attracted to.
Geraniol.
Can't tell you. But it's somewhere in
It's
there.
the secret sauce.
Yeah, I've used insect repellent as swarm because it's made with lemongrass and geraniol. I can't even say it now. Geranium oil. You know, it's like they're the two main ingredients in Nasonex pheromone. So
8 deep frame box with 4 medium. See, I don't have a shallow 5 frame or a medium 5 frame box.
I've heard a bunch of them using the double 5 frames and putting a couple of combs in the top one, but leave the bottom box empty. And when they come in, they got all that empty space in the bottom, and then they can build up top. They seem to like that.
Yep.
I've also seen people using like a medium super on the bottom, and then a medium 10 frame super, and then a 10 frame deep on top. But now I don't know as far as how they have the comb, if they got one piece of comb in there, if they've got how they've got it set up. So
if you want to do it really well, really cheap, I didn't see JP's video yet, but you were saying about the boxes. But if you go to the post office and ask them for styrofoam shipping containers, they usually have a bunch they're just going to put in the dumpster, and you get the big ones, like the really big ones. Just poke a hole in it and smear wax in there, and just hang them up. Because if someone destroys them, you don't care. It didn't cost you anything but some beeswax and a squirt of Swarm Commander.
and they work pretty good.
Oh yeah, they work really good. I told a buddy about that, and he caught like 3 swarms in the same box last year. In his hunting stand, whatever you call it, where you climb up the tree and sit on it.
The deer stand.
Yeah, deer stand. Okay, I never hunted before, but yeah, he caught 3 of them in there, 3 or 4 swarms in the same styrofoam box. And then you'll have to cut it out, but that's part of messing with bees. They're free, so you just got to do a little bit of work.
Sweat equity.
Yeah. Yeah, get some free styrofoam boxes from the post office.
I'll have to go check that out.
And they're like heavy. Get the really, they're the meat ones, and they're kind of heavy and sturdy.
Like almost like a dense styrofoam cooler.
Yep.
That's cool. All right, guys. Well, we've been going 2 hours on Easter evening. Lee's got work to do.
Yep.
I'm a no life beekeeper, so I think we probably went long enough tonight, and hopefully we have an Ian sighting on Tuesday if everything works appropriately. And as long as he's still snowed in, there's probably a strong chance. And
he won't have no life beekeeper either, huh?
Right. So start getting your questions ready. So if you got questions you want to ask Ian when he comes on, then definitely get that ready, because we'll try to get as many of them in front of him as we can. And try not to, well, no, I'm not going to say we'll try not to joke around too much, because that's kind of like what we like to do anyway. Just cut up. So anyway, guys, I think we're about done for tonight. Bruce, thank you for stopping in and stopping on. And as usual, hey, these guys, we put the link. Anybody can come in the chat. So we really enjoy having people on. It helps the stream go better. It helps get you exposure for your YouTube channel. And we appreciate you.
Hope everybody has a good night. Thank y'all.
All right. Good night, guys.